Donald Trump asked about Kamala Harris as a DEI hire, asked about her fucking race, all types of shit at the NAJB conference yesterday. It was viral all over social media. If you haven't heard it, take a listen.
Your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir,
of
I'm
that.
asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So, I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly, very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She is always
But you know
identified
what?
as a Black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
Black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there.
I didn't know this was on the docket, so
I didn't either. It kind of snuck up on us a little bit. I thought you had your rant next. Bailey threw a fucking bite. Call of Duty took the fucking grenade off, threw it, and ran.
So here let me speak as a non-Black person in the room, as a white person from the hood that has a Black daughter, real quick. I want to kind of throw this out there. I want to throw the lob up to Smitty in a positive manner. It's always going to be discussed and debated, and we're going to be scrutinized. However, Smitty and I's take is going to be on this particular topic. Smitty's a Black man who's had his own thoughts on how Black people are treated in this country, rightfully so. Let me be clearly honest here, how I say this. I'm going to be on the other side of the fence that the older person now, at age 30, I'd probably think more like Smitty would, just FYI. At 48, though, I see things and I see the bullshit, and I start to call shit out as it is. And Smitty will get there eventually as well. That's what I want the chat to understand. There's people that have to grow in this world, and it comes through experience and age and hands-on experience. A lot of you guys out here don't understand that, first of all. So you automatically critique, criticize, and belittle people that have a different opinion than you do, number one. Number two, I've seen the history and the experience that I have. She's never been pro-Black until she is now. That's just a fact that my experience shows me. Smitty sees a Black woman and is going to automatically trigger that. Rightfully so, as he should probably, because of what his people have gone through. So other than rumbling, I want to make sure I defend this on both sides, because it is the real shit, and it's a real show, and the realest show on planet Earth. That is what I wanted to start the show off on this topic with. Now, having said that, I think that's one of the more eloquently stated debates Trump has ever said and ever had. And I'm actually impressed that he sounds better now than he did 4 years ago when he was the president. That's just being honest. And to Smitty's point, maybe it's because he has the 4 years of experience in the Oval Office. To my point again, experience matters. Now, having said that, she is a fact. These are just some facts. She's incarcerated more Black people than any person in the White House, period, ever. That's number one. Number two, I don't know how that sits well with Black folks that think she's a Black woman and calls herself a Black woman. we can't call her a black woman, in my opinion, as a black man. That I'm not a black man, so I can't discuss it. Smitty will. But I don't know how you call her a black woman that someone sits there and claims she's not black for years, and then all of a sudden now she's black because she's on the nominee ballot. That's the part that I don't like. If she was black from gate and said she's black and she's pro-black and she's about helping blacks in jail and et cetera, it'd be a different ballgame right now. She'd probably have a real shot at this thing. But the real folks out there, the brothers out there that I know see this and see through the bullshit, have called her out on it. And I think experience will end up showing that I've seen this party before. I've seen her go through this. She's not who she says she is today as the nominee that she was 4 years ago. And the fact of the matter, she hasn't done anything, Smitty, in office. So she had a vote of no confidence 4 years ago. She was pulled out of the nominee ballot because she had 0 votes. She had no confidence from her party, Democratic Party. And now all of a sudden, seemingly overnight, she's become an overnight sensation based on the narratives being pushed out there by certain agenda pushers. And that's a full roundabout context that I wanted to give fairly to Smitty, fairly to everybody that's going to automatically talk shit to me, talk shit to Smitty, just because we have different opinions and viewpoints on this. Now, from a black man standpoint, seeing a black woman, Smitty, go ahead and take over.
Yeah, and I thought you said that. That's one of your best takes, I think, in terms of on this particular topic. I guess for me, just when I hear comments like that, I just don't hear. I don't hear substance. And what I want from this political, this entire race on both sides, I want to hear substance. I'm just tired of hearing all like the petty jabs and the childishness from both sides. You know, Kamala had like she spoke to Atlanta the other day and she made some like reference to Quavo the rapper, you know, obviously trying to appease to the Atlanta audience, and you know everybody cheered and all that, and that was cool. But at the end of the day, like, all that's fine and dandy. I need substance. So going back to Trump's comments, like obviously he's trying to like be funny and joke and all that. And is she black? Is she any? I don't know. I just found out she was black. I don't know. All right, cool. Some people probably think it's funny. Some people think whatever. A lot of people think it's disrespectful. And I just think if I was a part of his PR team, I wouldn't have advised him to make that comments in that setting. You're around nothing but black people at the NABJ. Like, this is people from Fox and ESPN and all media platforms, sports side, news side, whatever. They go here and they network. They do different like competitions, media competitions. They break bread with each other. Like, it's nothing but black people there. And for you to make that comment in that setting, I just think wasn't a smart move, and I think it comes off as disrespect. When, sure, to your point, JB, I've seen videos of Kamala just kind of claiming her Indian side, right? Like saying I'm Indian. Okay, that is true though. She's Indian and she's Jamaican, which is black. If you look at the history of Jamaica and who lives there, if you've ever been to Jamaica, anybody in the chat, those are black people. That's what it is. So whether she's walking around yelling out to the world that she's black every single day or not, that's what she is.
Smitty,
before you, regardless.
As you keep cooking, I want to make sure, I want to ask you a question in between your take. I see black men in the chat, and I just want to ask your perspective. You're 30 years old, and I know you and I debate on this all the time, and I go back and forth. Age will never be agreed on. I think there's separation in experience. This man says, I'm black, and that wasn't disrespectful because I know the truth about that evil witch. Then Latrell, who's a big-time Smitty fan, said, Smitty, something can't be disrespectful if it's fact or truth. I want to ask you, do you see, though, more and more black folks actually looking up, digging deep, and diving into Kamala's history and saying, this lady's actually done a lot of my folks wrong? Because I got homies that she's put in jail, and I've talked to many people that say she wasn't talking that pro-black shit then. Do you look at it as, all right, maybe there are some experiences that I haven't yet reached that I will reach in 4, 8, 10 years from now? and look back and say, fuck, man, I didn't do a deep dive on this.
No, I don't, because so I respect what you're saying about the experience. And of course, mind shifts with experience, excuse me, with experience. And as you get older, you care about certain things differently than you cared about before, things like that. But you're assuming that in 10, 15, 20 years, I'm going to shift my mindset to be just like JB, and that JB's mindset is the right mindset, and that
I hope you're not.
Me at 30 is the wrong mindset just because I'm ignorant to the information, or I'm just young. What I'm saying is,
I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be an independent thinker like you are.
Right, but I'm saying there's a chance too in 10, 15 years, with more experience, with more age, with more knowledge, that I'll still think a certain way that may not align with you. Which is what I've always tried to voice when we're having comments, we're having discussions in our group chat, is that the reason why this political stuff is so divisive is because I don't care who goes into office, right, left, black, white, fat, skinny, woman, man. There's not one solution for all. There's not like a one size fits all type of situation. Why? Because we all have different backgrounds. We all have different experiences. We all have different things that are important to us that are not important to the other side. There's things that I'm going through in my life that won't matter to JB at all. There's things that JB's going through with as a homeowner, as an older man, tax stuff, things like that affects him, don't affect me. There's certain things that I care about as far as, when it comes to women's rights, when it comes to kids. So I'm saying on both sides, I'm saying there's things that are important to some people that are not important to other people because of how their lifestyle is and what they are. So it will always be divisive, because no matter what, what's the solution? To me, there's no actual solution. There's not one person who can come in here and make everybody happy. It's impossible.
Let me ask you this. If you're a voter and you're voting for it, let's not even talk black, white, male, female. Let's just talk about a person that goes into a hostile environment, as Trump just did there, and answers questions that were thrown at him. Mm-hmm. He didn't ask himself those questions, Smitty. Let's just be honest here. He answered the question that was asked of him in a very hostile environment. My question to you is, wouldn't you rather have a person that leads a country that is down to go against the enemy and look at him in the eye and answer the question truthfully than a guy or a person, a woman, a person of any, I don't matter what color you are, that avoids the hostile environment? I have yet to see this woman, Kamala, as a VP or any other sitting judicial person or administrator, ever go into a hostile environment and address that crowd, yet to do it. And I bet you dollars to dimes she won't do it. And we're mad or discussing Trump today in a manner because of the question that he was asked, and then he answered the question, and we're mad at him because he truthfully said what was on his mind in a hostile environment. You have to give the person credit for that, whether it's white, black, or different.
I give him credit for showing up, for sure. I respect that. It takes courage to be able to show up in an environment, but I also understand that it's politics. And I talked to you and Ben about this in the chat. Trump knows if he obtains a large portion of the black vote, he's going to win. Point blank. Period. The white male is voting for Trump. That's not even. It's a waste of Kamala's time to try to go there.
See, I don't agree totally with that because the left liberal LGBTQ white man is straight up a leftist, far left, and the gay white male, who's a ton of them out there, is not voting Trump.
Bro. But majority is still majority is not them though.
You know why Trump is I don't mean attacking in a negative way. Attacking the black population, meaning going to get them as an ally. Yeah. The reason Trump is and I'm just trying to give context and a little history. The reason Trump is going at the black population for votes is political. I agree with you. That's how these two guys are.
They're smart.
But there's a reason, Smitty, because the left and the liberals and the Democrats have used the black vote they lack to bring in illegals to replace the black vote. So Trump has to counter that by getting black Americans on board to counter the illegals that have come into this country that is going to vote to replace the black vote that we're losing. And that is actually a fact and that's what we're seeing. I don't know if you see the videos I put in our group chat today. San Diego, cats is dropping them off on jet skis right there by E-Dub, where Eric Weddle's house, and cats are going crazy. What are we doing here? The question I have, Smitty, is this. We're countering one side to another, and it's both political. I agree with you. One's going to push this, one's going to push this. We're mad at Trump for addressing a question that was asked, but we're excited and endorsing Kamala because the culture says I can have Megan Thee Stallion come out and twerk, and we're cool with that.
I'm not cool with that.
I know you're not. I know you're not. And that's what people in the chat don't realize. You're actually independent. You see things. You're like, I'm not cool with this. This is a bad look.
It's a time and place for everything. That's not the time and the place to be having Megan Thee Stallion come out there. That's a bad look in my opinion.
And that to me reeks of fake. It reeks fake to me because you haven't been talking about culture this whole time. For 4 years. Now all of a sudden the culture is Megan Thee Stallion twerking on stage in Atlanta because Atlanta is a very, very culturally black city.
Yeah.
Like, come on, homie. To me, it's a slap in the face. All my black homies are like, oh, that's a slap in our fucking face, homie. They hot right now. The OGs that I know, they hot. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even think of that, Smitty. And I'm like, I knew it was a bad look, but I was like, brothers ain't really happy with that. Now, the younger brothers are. Because that's the culture they're in right now. Right. They're entwined with that shit. They think this shit's cool.
Right.
But the truth is, this broad hasn't identified as being a true pro-black person in 4 years. Or many more years than that. But I'm talking about in her office time, 4 years. She's failed the border, which was her number one job. She's yet to fire anybody for failing the border under her watch. And yet now, all of a sudden, she went from no votes of confidence to now being popular. It doesn't make sense, dog,
but
and that's just what I'm saying.
My only comment to that last part is because, again, that was her against like Biden against her own the other Democratic Party, but now she's the face. So now it's like, all right, if you're a Democrat, and that's the side that you rock with, and you're looking at the her stance as far as the stuff that she's saying she's going to focus on. Women's rights, freedom of vote, things like that, whatever the case may be. If that's what you care about, if you're that side, you care about that. You're like, well, shit, she ain't my number one choice, but she's who we got. Just like people, I know people on the right who are going to vote for Trump because I know people on both sides. So I know people who are definitely voting for Trump, but they're not necessarily a fan of Trump either. They're just like, fuck, like I don't like a lot of stuff we do, but that's what we got. So I'm saying
there's two people in this thing,
right? So it's
like you got to pick one or the other.
So when you say she had no vote of confidence and now she's popular, it was like, well, like you said, it's only two people. So like,
but let me clarify.
No choice.
Let me clarify the difference between Amber Rose and Megan Thee Stallion. Number one, if people are going to really in the chat sit here and equate Amber Rose to Megan Thee Stallion,
well, I'm gonna let you go first and I'll respond.
Smitty, let's be real. Megan Thee Stallion went out there, in my opinion, in an honest way and spoke about defending or endorsing Trump.
Or Amber, yep. Amber did. Yep.
Amber Rose, sorry.
Yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion went out and twerked and didn't do any speaking and endorse the Democratic Party. She went out there to shake her ass to try to get black culture to like Kamala Harris.
She just performed. Yeah, she performed. Like,
and you know, optically, a performance speaks louder than words. And that's the truth of the matter. Amber Rose went out there and was like, here's the speech I have for this man and this party. On the other side, we brought out a broad and twerked. Like, come on, there's two different things here. I don't care about endorsing one side or the other. I'm endorsing Trump. I put a shirt out. That doesn't mean, though, that I'm going to sit up here and agree with some political things that he does. I'm totally the other way on the whole right-wing conservative abortion act. I'm for the woman on this one. That's a leftist thinker. But I'm not left thinking when it comes to the whole ball of wax. I don't believe in a lot of these things, and that's just why I will never vote, period. But number one, number two, there's no way that I would ever lean anywhere near left because of all the things that we're going to talk about in my daily rant here.